again, the mountain of despair because of the March on Washington. Huge crack, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Huge crack, the Voting Rights Act, 1965. And this guy had a huge, huge heart with it. Now that guy had been elected and he was in the White House. I never expected to see an African American in the White House. Now the question is, what other forms of injustice should be brought to the bar of morality to see what else should fall away? You know what, guys? I want to close with something. Progress has been made, there's no question. But this happened to me 1 year and 1 month and 3 days ago, whatever. It was September 10th. Do the math. I was not that far from here. Yeah, it was only 40 miles south of town. Guys, this is not 1850 in New Orleans. This is last year. You can practically call it suburban D.C. Went into a convenience store. The clerk was younger than I am. I'd like to note that. You think, well, that's no big deal. Anybody is younger than you. Okay, that's true. But having said that, that is significant because of context. And secondly, normally I do not mention ethnicity. But because of this is important. He was of an ethnic minority background. You'll see why that is significant. I went to put the soda on the counter. And this young man said to me, I was 57 at the time, a young man said to me, did you get your granola bar from the shelf? Now why is that? Why did he ask that? I don't fault him for it. I had gotten the granola bar from the car before I went into the store, stuck it in my pocket, didn't give it a thought. What he asked was a very logical question. Did you forget to pay for it? You know, he absent-minded. Are you stealing it? You know, because shoplifting happens all the while. That did not bother me. I asked him, he asked me that question, and I responded. I said, no, I went to the bar and everything. Then he said this, and he was a minority, so you would think that he would have been more sensitive. But he said something like this to me. If you had been African American, you could not gotten away with that. Blow me away, why, I didn't say this, but blow me away, why don't you? I said to him, what did you say? And he said, quote, nothing, close quote. He actually chuckled a little bit before that. I paid and went about my business. Guys, that is last year. This is around here, 40 miles away, is not that far. You say, I am not like that. Well, that's great, but you know what? And I'm going to mention ethnicity here because of the context is important. I had a boss who was African American at another agency, and I'm European American. We talked about everything. We had a great relationship. We were friends. We also talked about race and prejudice, and we agreed. Everybody has it. It just might not be skin color. It could be your height, your weight, religion, fill in the blank. Everybody has it. As long as you know that you got it, you can do something about it. Now, you say, well, I'm not, it isn't really affecting me. Don't answer the question, okay, but I'm going to run it back. Suppose you were talking to somebody about somebody you knew. What would you do? The guy, you're saying, my friend and I, my African-American friend and I went to the new Dr. King Memorial. My European American friend and I, well, we went to the Nats game, Nationals game. My Asian American friend and I, we went for a hike along the C&O Canal. When we put this adjective before it, what does that say about us? It's not that we can't celebrate our different ethnicities as long as we don't try to make it sound superior. The thing of it is, though, we don't even realize that we have prejudice. It's almost like in the air. You might say, I'm never going to be a Dr. King, though. I'm not going to be an Abraham Lincoln. I don't have the gift of gab. I'm not going to shake the world like these guys did. And they did for the good. And a lot of it was because of the power of their words. And maybe you don't have that. Fine. But you know what? You don't know what still might happen. I wish there were kids here. You know what somebody said to Abraham Lincoln, or about Abraham Lincoln when he was a week old? His cousin gave him to Lincoln's mother, and his cousin said to him something like this: "Take him, man, because he's the cryingest, puniest baby I've ever seen. He won't amount to much." He kind of lost that one. Or supposing you're walking down the streets of Atlanta, you turn the corner, you're on Auburn Avenue, you see this little kid, Michael King, running up the street, 6 years old, and just a lively kid, normal kid like anybody else. Who would have thought? And now we have a memorial here. There's a quote over there from Dr. King: "Make a career of humanity." The little things matter, folks. Let me give you an example on both ends of the spectrum. Remember that guy that killed all those students here in '07 down here at Virginia Tech? This guy's mother tongue was not English, and before the murders, somebody had poked fun at his accent. Now that I'm not saying is a direct cause of what happened, but I'm sure it did not help, and it does not excuse what he did. But just think, maybe it did. You don't know what might be negative that you and I say, or take the other end. Kid dropped a bunch of books in school. Another schoolmate came along, helped pick him up, and went about his way. A kid came up to him later. He said, "You know, I'm paraphrasing, but the upshot was, you spared my life because I was thinking of committing suicide." That little bit of help spared that kid's life. Words for evil, words for good. It matters, folks. I don't know what you think of the memorial. It's for you to decide. It's easy for me to decide, though, that you richly deserve my thanks for having been a wonderfully attentive audience. Should you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer, but should the query be, "Why do you gas so much?" I don't know. Could be because of my age. It could be because I work for the federal government and we know how to gas, believe me. Could be I'm